everyone, it's Desiree and I am here for the second video for Spellbinders, and today we are going to combine the Glimmer and the Embossing Folder. We have this beautiful framed image for our Glimmer for this month, and it is called Glimmering Christmas Flora, and the Embossing Folder you see there is called Christmas Wrap Pattern. This frame has a cutout center, which made it very interesting for me, and it comes with two sentiments, one in a script and one in a block font. The foil that I'll be using is polished brass. The cardstock that I'm going to use for this piece is actually Canson XL watercolor. It had a great thickness. Now, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to use watercolor pencils or if I was going to use my colored pencils. Either way, we had some great texture for our card. I used a small scrap piece to cut out the center from that frame, and now I'm creating my hinges so that I can emboss my image onto my watercolor paper. Now, even though I'm using my watercolor paper, I still do keep the shim, a piece of cardstock, and the plate for when I run this through my die cutting machine. I thought maybe that piece was going to work. That's okay. I will put that in my container that I have for my scraps. I'm going to put the foil down with the pretty side up, trim away the excess, and I do keep these scraps. They are great for those strip sentiments. So never get rid of those. I just put those into my container. I'm going to set up the sentiments as well. I am going to be foiling both of them. And again, creating those hinges. One, to keep them in place, and especially for the frame to keep that centered. You can see I'm coming in with some of those scraps that I have and still trimming down to have not as much foil around the image. I'm going to set those underneath them. Our Glimmer machine has been heating up, so I'm going to place these down. Place down the shim, the cardstock, and the plate, and hit the timer so that it'll let me know when it's ready. I'm going to take that piece that I die cut out, and I'm going to place it in an area in the embossing folder and just emboss that. And with watercolor paper, you get a beautiful result from an embossing folder. Now remember, this is not the 3D embossing folder. I'm going to grab a piece of gold mirror cardstock, set that onto my standard A2 size card base, and we're going to run our foiled pieces through my Platinum 6 and reveal the results. It's just an absolutely gorgeous image. Now I will get my sentiments ready and get those die cut out so that I can set those off to the side. It was right about here, or somewhere during here, that I decided to use my colored pencils. I do enjoy the look of a foiled image, and this frame is perfect for that. But I did want to add just a touch of color. So what I'm using are my colored pencils and just adding a little bit of color. You can see I'm zooming in. I'm not adding much. It's very faint, but it adds just enough. This would look absolutely beautiful if you have some watercolor pencils or even your watercolors that you could add to this. Again, just adding a light amount to each of the images. I chose a deep red for the berries. I chose a brown for the pine cones, a green and a dark green just for the ferns. I am so sorry for that noise. And then I chose a different shade of red for the poinsettias and a shade for those other flowers coming out from the berries. And again, you can see this is very light. It's not heavy-handed. I'm not even shading. I'm letting the cardstock be the highlight of this piece. If you love adding color to your pieces, but you're not sure where to start, this is a good place. I also say have fun practicing with your coloring mediums, especially you could use a mixed media album, and just have fun to see what they do. Very faint, I've placed that panel using my liquid adhesive up onto my card base. I'm coming in with an eraser. It's actually a gum eraser, and I just saw that there was some ghosting of the foiling, which is fine. I use that eraser and it goes away. I don't use anything else when it comes if I have that issue. I'm going to add some double-sided foam squares to the back of that piece that we cut out and then embossed with our embossing folder, and set that right into the center. This is going to give that some dimension. Now I will also say, because the cardstock was thick, it's 140 pounds when it comes to Canson XL watercolor. When you run your plate through your die cutting machine, it does do a little bit of an indentation to provide details to that image, which I think is great. I chose to put the Merry Christmas on the outside, and the inside sentiment, may all your days be merry and bright, is on the inside. That is today's card. I hope you enjoyed today's project featuring the Spellbinders Glimmer and Embossing Kit of the Month for July. The products that I used will be listed down below, along to their blog, inspiration gallery, and also the other kits that are available. They do have many, and what's great is every month they coordinate with each other. So I think that's wonderful. If you haven't yet, love for you to hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, make sure you ring the bell for notifications so that you're notified when the next video is available. Enjoy creating your cards, enjoy creating your art. Have fun with it. Enjoy the process. Try new things. But remember what's most important. Always be creative, and I will talk to you in the next one. Till then.